So I spent the last couple of days over the weekend, spent a little bit of time hacking some of this here. And one of the things I noticed about the original page, if you want to go in there and inspect it, you can see this. They used a lot of flex elements on the page. And I love flex. I used it all the time in 1.0, but I find that in 2.0, there's actually easier ways to do it. And it's because of two things that they built into 2.0 over the years. The one is the ability to have the columns. Let me think here. It's the columns within a row flex. So there's a display flex is on the row element itself, which means then the two columns inside of it can flex. And so that gave you a lot of things that you would normally have to have built with the flex boxes, but then also with the ability to do the sections as an element. So you can create a section, put a row inside of it, got your columns, got your elements in there, but instead of putting in an element, you could say put another section in there. So then inside of that section, then again, you have, again, your rows, your columns, and your elements inside of it. And so I find that between the two of those things, you don't really have to use flex very often. And so I think in here, in this case here, I think there was one, now that I say that, there may be no elements, because I think the one I was using flex on I took out, but we'll see that as we go along here. And I'm not going to go through all the code that they put in, all the code that I put in. I'm just going to talk in general what the differences are. But I will tell you, like up here at the top, again, the one on the right is the ClickFunnels homepage. The one here on the right, I looked at their code, and they pretty much hard-coded the entire thing. The whole thing was custom code, and you can do it that way. But what I did is I did the same thing over here, but I used a JavaScript library that is existing that a lot of people have been using for years in order to set this up. So I didn't really look, I'd have to look at the code again to see exactly how they did it. But how I did it is I used a singular headline element, and then I indicated the part that I wanted to stay in place. I indicated the part that I wanted to change out. And then I think it was one line of JavaScript code. I then was able to attach that JavaScript library to this, and now you see the result you want. Now, there are a lot of different ways that you could do this type of a typewriter type slider, and you can do it so that there'll be you can have things that are bold and italicized and all that as well. You could be changing the font families, the font size. You could do all that kind of stuff. But it would probably take doing it slightly different than the way I did it. But like I said, there are dozens and dozens of different ways that you can put these together. I saw one just recently where what they were doing is they were having let me see here. I think it's actually on this page right here. Yeah, where they have the text flipping up like this. So I'll definitely be building that out sometimes, because I am going to rebuild this whole page right there. But I saw it could be flipping up. You can have it fade out. There's all kinds of different options on on what you can do. Now, the second thing we have here on the page that I built out is something that they actually inside of ClickFunnels built 100%. Here's the original page over here. They built this basically 100% with HTML, even going so far as to use the HTML video tag for the videos themselves, because what this is one big video playing in the background, then it has some text over the top of it. Now for me, I like to use the native ClickFunnels elements whenever possible, so I built this entire thing into a section and put the videos playing on the background of the section, and then I put a row over the top of it and put the text over here on the left-hand side. And you're going to see here there's actually 5 different cards that I've built here, or sections. In this case here, we just kind of generically call them cards when we're looking at sliders and things like this. And so what they did up here at the top is exactly what I did. So you click on store, and then a new video comes up and new text over here on the left hand side. Same thing with CRM, a little bit new text and a new video in the background. Now for me, what I did is I just grabbed this one particular video out of ClickFunnels itself and used it on my own page over here. I actually uploaded it to YouTube and stuck it on here just for the sake of demonstrating this. and then I built out 5 different cards. And you see then as I go to your store, the only thing that's going to change here is where it says your store. The card changes, but the video is the same video on every single one of these. So they're all going to autoplay and it won't look any different. But I built out 3 of them here that work properly. So here now we went to the 3rd card where it says your CRM, and we can go back to the store and back to your funnel. And again, you saw a glitch there for a second because, again, this is on YouTube, and of course, YouTube is free. So that's the second one I wanted to build out on here. This one here actually was probably the easiest of the 4 that I built. Then they had a big old slider down here at the bottom, and we'll just slide this down. And you should see that my slider is pretty much exactly the same size as there. Oh, nice. Look at it here. I'm off by a little bit. I'm off by like a pixel or 2 there in the height. And so either way, it should be, oops, I had my mouse over the top of the one on the right so it wasn't moving. And again, mine on the left here has, let me see if I hover over it, I forget what I put in here for settings, and I can't move it, but like I said, I forget what I put in there for settings. But it can be set, so like with theirs, you can move it with your mouse back and forth. When you go over it with your mouse, you can make it hover and stop. Again, we're having difficulties with that here. So now we got to stop. So they can be built any way you want, these sliders. So like I said, you can be on a mobile phone and you can be sliding it with your finger. You can slide it with the mouse. You can pause over the top of it. Now I got it to pause. But like I said, I don't remember exactly how I have that one set. So again, made up the cards, put it into the slider, and away you go. And again, I think in the case over here, they 100% coded that entire thing and possibly even used HTML. I didn't use any HTML when I built mine. And then down here at the bottom, and okay, so you're wondering, these are just video pop-ups or native elements inside of ClickFunnels. And then over here, we have one more slider at the bottom. And there's something interesting about this slider after I got done building it out that I discovered that I didn't realize until I accidentally clicked on one of these over here, because there's no indication to me that you're supposed to click on one of these, even though it's got it's got a cool animation on it. But when you click on these, it actually opens up this video, and then you have a learn more link right here. Let me just open that up in a new tab, and it takes you to a whole new page, which now, of course, I have more things on here that I have to hack. But I think the only thing I saw of any interest, yeah, this is actually a universal element, so it can be on every page. They had an FAQ down here at the bottom, which I've built dozens and dozens of those over the years. But either way, you click on the buttons and it goes back and forth. And I guess one thing I didn't do is on hover, this turned black. I guess I forgot to put that onto mine. But otherwise, you see it does this. Now, if you come over here to mine, we got to click over here. And mine does exactly the same thing. And you'll see they're the same size, shape. And so I pretty much cloned them 100% the way they are. And we can go and we can click on this and move it over as well. When we get to the end, the little button grays itself out. And when we get back over here to the beginning of it, it grays itself out. And you can click on that all day long, and it's not going to go anywhere. So actually, I'd probably say of the 4, this one actually gave me the most trouble, mostly because, it's one of those things you start building it and thinking it's going to work one way, and then you realize, oh, no, that was stupid. I was doing it the hard way, because it's always the simplest way to build it that is the best when it comes to things like this. So that's what I want to show you. It didn't take me more than, a couple hours for each one, building them 100% from scratch. And this is the kind of stuff that will be in my training, starting, next week, whatever, after Funnel Hacking Live. If you're interested in that, let me know. But it's all about how to do this stuff. Now, everybody today is like, oh, just go to ChatGPT, go to ChatGPT. Well, what ChatGPT is going to give you is 100% JavaScript, HTML, because it doesn't understand how ClickFunnels works. And for me, I think that's the most important part here, because this is all 100% in here, ClickFunnels elements. Okay, so this here is actually a section with a number of rows inside of it. That's what it is. What I did down here, see how the color changes? What I did down here at the bottom, I made this bottom row down here I made that with the whatever, let's just call it orange background on it. I made this one up here at the top with the gray background on it. And then what I did is I said, okay, when I hover over it, all I want to do, because I put the yellow behind the gray, I said, what I want to do is the gray one, I want the height to shorten up. So that's how I did it there. Plus it pops up 10 pixels at the top as you hover over it. But again, there's no custom code in here, a little bit of CSS, but no custom code, no flex boxes, no nothing else. Same thing over here. I did use flex boxes down here, I do believe at the bottom. And now that I say that, actually, I think I ended up using a 2-column row because it worked out better. I did like a 2-column row on there. This, again, a section with a video playing in the background, 2-column row, text over to the left. This here was just a bunch of buttons up here at the top with a little bit of code that says, okay, when this button is clicked, just show me the proper card. And then, like I said, up here at the top, this was actually a JavaScript library that's available online that we could pull in and then basically not teach it, but write the code to connect it to ClickFunnels, which is always the hard part at the end, because like I said, you can get ChatGPT all day long to give you code, but then you have to still connect it to ClickFunnels and make it work properly. And that's where the rub comes on this stuff a lot of times. And that's why I do the training that I do. And I also why I have my Funnel FastPass calls is so that people can jump on there and we can work together and get their stuff all hooked up and ready to go. So that's all I have for today. If you have any questions of any sort, just let me know. And let me see here what I got to do to get the heck out of here. I'm using this OBS software and I'm just new to it. So here we go. Hopefully I was live the whole time. So I will stop streaming. Y'all have a good day.